the first thing we need to first recognize is that this is a neologism. I mean, this word has not really been used. The Prophet never really had a word that would approximate to this. Iske andar matlab, it's not just the welfare part which is new. It's also in a way the word the state. I mean, Islamic welfare state के 3 conceptual components बन रहे हैं ना, एक आपका Islam, एक आपका welfare, एक आपका state. It's up for dispute whether Pakistan as a state even approximates the Medinan state in any fair way. Because if you look at the history of states and politics and all of those things, then Medina is best characterized as a city-state, which is not what Pakistan is now. I mean, it's one of the world's biggest states. Scale का इतना बड़ा फर्क है. That's a big asymmetry. Then secondly, the other thing to look at when you're talking about state, a developed form of Sharia, you had the Sharia giver present within Medina itself, right? Which is a big difference. Now we are obviously debating over what was his legacy. That those kinds of disputes would not arise in the Prophet's time. Welfare, ye abhi jis tarah se istemal kiya jata hai, as far as I understand, it basically means that the welfare state in post World War II time period, this idea really developed and took hold as a reaction within the West to the kinds of claims that Soviet communism was making about the runaway materialism, the runaway expropriation, the runaway monopolization made possible by capitalism. So within Western Europe, the idea was developed that you need to have a state which will not only protect the borders, manage the economy, but will also provide a social welfare, security kind of net for your disadvantaged citizens. To take the example of US, you got the development of something known as the social security or different kinds of health insurance program. Who exactly would the welfare state target? That's a big issue. I mean, does the welfare state even include something like universal education? Different states in the world who have different conceptions of the welfare state have taken different positions on this. The issue would be over here that Imran Khan needs to sort of set down what exactly does he mean, or PTI needs to set down what exactly do they mean by the welfare state, like what kind of welfare do they have in mind. One could easily say Islamic welfare state must prioritize the welfare of Muslims over the welfare of non-Muslims when they clash, as opposed to just maintaining a generic concept that, the poor will be provided for. Because, welfare over here, the dominant understanding of usme, yes, you're talking about economic sort of benefits, but one can easily expand this language and include within welfare something like violation of our sense of honor as Muslims, because that's exactly what has been happening in Pakistan for a long time anyway, that the state has been construed by some sections of the population as a defender of Islamic value. While Imran Khan's rhetoric on the Islamic welfare state is maybe giving rise to a different way of conceptualizing economic rights within Pakistan, but it might also provide a cover for the old kind of concerns. That's why he needs to be very clear on what he means by this. But I think he has a purpose in not being clear on these issues, because it serves his, multiple kinds of bases. So the Jamaat-e-Islami kind of people that he's absorbed into PTI, they and not just the people in the party, but also in the population, they will obviously like this kind of stuff, because that kind of rings a bell in their head that reminds them of Maududi-esque issues. The urban literate populations who, while not invested in Jamaat-e-Islami kind of Islam, are still interested in looking at how Islam is going to be promoted, and the language of Islam and the rhetoric of Islam will still be used to protect the disadvantaged within the community. Let's talk about the economic stuff. What exactly will the welfare state do in terms of economics in order to enable this kind of huge safety net? Because we still have taxpayer issues in Pakistan. We still don't really have enough of a surplus in this economy to even properly service our debt. Forget being able to create a social welfare net. Islamic welfare state की अगर से बात करें conceptual level पे, तो आपको मैंने बता दिया issues उसमें क्या क्या आ रहे हैं. State के level पे आ रहे हैं, welfare के level पे आ रहे हैं. Welfare सिर्फ economic नहीं रहेगा. It might also become, an honor and a rights issue. Islamic welfare state, as far as I know, nobody has really used this language as such. The closest that you will get to it is probably something like in Turkey with a huge populist base, where this kind of, the Justice and Development Party has the AKP in Turkey, Erdogan's party. I mean, they've kind of maintained this rhetoric, which is reminiscent of what Imran is trying to do. But udhar bhi agar aap trajectory dekhe, to he comes on the ride of a very huge populist support, and slowly and gradually, while his anti-Western stances have been pretty clear and good for the most part, because he is speaking out for a lot of Muslim issues in the world. But the worry is amongst some commentators that he's also riding this wave for his personal, for benefit and consolidation of power. So if I were listening and following Imran closely, that's another thing I would be watching out for. Okay, this rhetoric makes you popular with Muslims at so many different levels that it also generates a certain kind of free pass for you.